And today, the agenda has been set by Mallika ji. The keyword is excuses. So, let me begin with the story. I'm sure each one of you will recognize that there's something you've been wanting to do for months, maybe years. Learn a new skill, start that business, or have that difficult conversation, or even joining the gym. Some might be thinking of writing a book or applying for some job. And every time the thought comes up, another voice immediately follows. I will, but just not right now. I'm too busy, or I don't have the resources, or the timing isn't right, or once things settle down, or after the wedding, after the festival season, or once the kids are older, or when I have more money, or when I feel more confident. I am not ready yet. Sounds familiar? And here is the uncomfortable truth that voice isn't protecting you, it's paralyzing you. Yes. So today we are going to talk about something that might sting a little, but I promise will also set you free because we are talking about saying goodbye to excuses. Yes, please bid a final goodbye to all your excuses today because excuses are comfort blankets. They are warm but suffocating. So, first, let's understand what an excuse actually is. An excuse is a story we tell ourselves to justify inaction. Let me repeat that. An excuse is a story we tell ourselves to justify inaction. It sounds reasonable, it feels protective, it keeps you safe from failure, judgment, or discomfort. But here's what excuses really do: they protect your ego while blocking your growth. So, let me show you what this looks like in real life. Let me talk about Priya. She's been saying she wants to start a small home business selling her paintings. She's talented. People have told her they'd buy her work. But every time the conversation comes up, the excuses flow. Oh, I don't have time with the kids and household work. I'm not tech savvy enough to sell online. Or what if people don't like my work? Or I'll start once things are less hectic. Now, are these concerns valid? Absolutely. Time is limited. Technology can be intimidating. Rejection is scary. And life is definitely hectic. But here's the question Priya needs to ask herself: are these reasons or are they excuses? Because here's the difference. A reason is a genuine obstacle you're actively working to overcome. But an excuse is a story you repeat to avoid trying. If Priya said, I have limited time, so I'm going to dedicate just 2 hours every Sunday morning to my art, that's addressing a reason. But if she says, I don't have time, and then spends 3 hours every morning scrolling through Instagram, that's an excuse. The excuse isn't there to state facts, it's there to protect her from vulnerability of trying and possibly failing. And I get it. See, vulnerability is terrifying. But you know what's more terrifying? Looking back 10 years from now and realizing the only thing that stopped you was you, nobody but you. And here's a powerful exercise that will make you deeply uncomfortable. And that's how you'll know it's working. Take it, take any excuse and you've been using and replace I can't with I choose not to. I repeat, I'm sure each one of you must be having some excuse in your life. So take that one and replace I can't with I choose not to and watch what happens. I can't wake up early to exercise becomes I choose not to wake up early to exercise. Feel the shift? Suddenly, it's not capability, it's about priority. Or I can't afford therapy becomes I choose not to prioritize therapy in my budget. Maybe that's still true. Maybe therapy genuinely isn't accessible right now. But the reframe forces you to ask, is this actually impossible? Or have I just not made it a priority? And if I haven't made it a priority, is that okay with me? Let me give you Arjun's example. He's been saying for 2 years, I can't learn to cook and I'm too busy with work. And when he reframes it, I choose not to learn to cook because I prioritize other things over it. And now he's forced to confront the truth. It's not that he can't, he just hasn't wanted it badly enough to make space for it. And that's okay. But calling it what it is, a choice, not a limitation, is honest. And here's another one. Neha has been saying, I can't leave this toxic job. I have responsibilities. And reframe, I choose to stay in this toxic job because right now financial security feels more important than my mental health. Again, maybe that's a valid choice for her current season of life. But owning it as a choice rather than helplessness, that's powerful. Because choice implies agency, and agency means that if circumstances change or priorities shift, she can make a different choice. So excuses whisper, you're powerless. Responsibility says you have options even if they are all hard. See, some of you might have bought certain programs also, certain courses, but after paying for them, you still don't do them. And then you have this, oh, I don't have time. Think about it. When you make an investment, you must think about the return on investment too. Otherwise, only excuses. And then, you see, here's the thing about excuses they feel protective in the moment, but over time, they steal something precious from you, your sense of personal power. Every time you say, I can't, you're essentially saying, I am not in control of my life. External circumstances are. And sometimes that's true. There are real limitations health, finances, caregiving responsibilities, systematic barriers, or I'm not denying those. They do exist. But more often than we want to admit, we hide behind excuses that sounds like limitations but are actually fears. I can't start that YouTube channel because I don't have professional equipment. Translation is I am afraid people will judge the quality. Let me tell you, it's part of my life. I wanted to make these videos for the YouTube. Let me tell you, just because I wanted, my excuse was that I'm not perfect enough. And I waited for 15 years to break that barrier. And then finally, my son came to my rescue. And when he said, I'll take care of the technology, you take care of just sitting and delivering the content. And that's how, in just a matter of 4 to 5 videos, that barrier was absolutely broken. And now I'm free. I'm able to do it all myself. But that was nothing but an excuse and it stopped my growth in the social media. So that does happen. So let's say uh, an excuse can be I can't have that conversation with my mother in law because it will create conflict. But the real reason is I'm afraid of being uncomfortable or disliked. Or I can't apply for that promotion because I'm not fully qualified. But the real reason is I'm afraid of rejection or not being good enough. See how excuses camouflage fear as impossibility? And here's the sneaky part. Every time you use an excuse, you reinforce the belief that you are powerless. You train yourself to see obstacles instead of options. But when you take responsibility, even just for small things, you start reclaiming your power. So, responsibility doesn't mean everything is your fault. It means you're willing to own your part, your choices, and your next steps. So, responsibility says, yes, this is hard. Yes, the timing isn't ideal. Yes, I'm scared, but I'm going to try anyway. So, let me tell you the most common excuse I hear. I'm waiting for the right time. The right time to start exercising, the right time to have that conversation, the right time to pursue that dream. And I hate to break it to you, but the right time doesn't exist. And let me tell you, the right time is always now. So there will always be a reason to wait. Always a festival around the corner, a family obligation, a work deadline, a financial goal, a child's exam, a parent's health concern. Life doesn't pause and say, okay, now everything is aligned, go for it. It'll never happen. Waiting for perfect timing is just another excuse in disguise. And what works instead? Small steps, imperfect action, messy progress. Rima wanted to learn Kathak, something she'd loved as a child but gave up. Her excuse? I'll join classes once I lose weight and have more time. And one day she stopped waiting. She found a beginner online class that met once a week for 30 minutes. Not perfect, not ideal, but it was movement. A year later, she's not a professional dancer, but she hasn't lost all the weight, but she's dancing again. And that matters. Small steps beat perfect timing every single time. Because here's the secret: action creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence, and confidence creates more action. But excuses, they create stagnation, and stagnation creates regret. I'm sure none of you want to regret in life. And here's your homework, and it's beautifully simple. Write down one excuse you have been using, just one, and be honest with yourself. Yes. Now replace that excuse with one tiny action you can take today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. However uncomfortable it is. Just take one action, however small it is. Let's say I can't write because I don't have time. Action could be write for 5 minutes during lunch break today. Or I can't start therapy because it's expensive. The action could be research one free mental health resource or helpline today. Or I can't improve my relationship because my partner won't change. So action could be say one appreciative thing to them today without expecting anything in return. And then see, these actions won't solve everything, but they shatter the illusion that you are powerless. And here is what I want you to understand: excuses aren't evil, they're not a moral failing. They are protection mechanism, and for a long time they might have served you well. But there comes a point where what once protected you starts to confine you. As I said, excuses are comfort blankets, warm but suffocating. So they keep you safe from failure, but they also keep you safe from success, safe from rejection, but also safe from connection, safe from discomfort, but also safe from growth. And maybe, just maybe, you've outgrown that safety. Maybe you are ready to be a little cold, a little uncomfortable, a little vulnerable. And if it means you are also alive, growing, and moving toward the person you want to become. So, saying goodbye to excuses doesn't mean you suddenly become fearless or that life gets easy. It means you stop letting fear make your decisions for you. It means you start asking, what's one small thing I can do right now instead of, why can't I do this? It means you trade comfort for courage, one tiny step at a time, and see your call to action for the day. Today, right after this session, write down one excuse you've been carrying, be ruthlessly honest, and then identify one small action you can take in the next 24 hours to challenge that excuse. Not a perfect action, never strive for perfectionism. It only leads to procrastination. Not a massive leap, just one small step. Do it messy, do it scared, do it imperfectly, but do it. Because the life you want isn't waiting for the perfect moment. It's waiting for you to stop making excuses and start making moves. Even tiny ones count. And then, with that thought, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.